Now take a look at this. That's the picture as it came out of camera. And here's the same picture just a few moments later. I've been removed from the middle of the group and the people either side have closed up as though there was never a gap there in the first place. And no Photoshop was used. That was all done from Lightroom. Now, I want to be clear who I've made this for because it isn't for everyone. If you're happy in Photoshop and you're in it every day, you already have a way of doing this and you probably don't need me showing you it. This is for the people who use Lightroom and stop there. Maybe you've never got on with Photoshop. Maybe you find it intimidating, or maybe you just don't have it. My wife's a good example. She's got pictures on her phone she'd love to tidy up, but she isn't about to start to sit down and learn layers and masks to do it. Now, there's a feature in Lightroom, though, that takes your picture straight into Adobe Firefly, and Firefly will do things Lightroom on its own simply can't. Now, yes, Lightroom does have a remove tool, but let's be honest, it isn't the best, not by a long shot. So this is something you could consider using if you have some heavy lifting to do, but just don't want, have, or know where to start in Photoshop. Now, if you're new here, hit subscribe and give the bell a tap so you don't miss any future videos. I cover this sort of thing as it lands, as well as other photography-related content. Right, let's get into it. All right then, so this picture here is the one that I want to work on. It's actually one that I grabbed at the end of a photo shoot for my I Am Lime project. The one I'd gone to photograph these guys, who are known as the Scallop Diver Dorset on Instagram, was this one. But at the end of it, as I do with all the photo shoots I'm doing for this project, I like to grab a picture with the people I photographed afterwards. And this is the one I thought would make a good one to use to show how we can actually use this Firefly thing from Lightroom to remove somebody from the picture. So before we do that though, let's just quickly look at the remove tool within Lightroom, because I did say it isn't the best. Let's just have a quick look at what it actually would do. So over on the right hand side, I'll go to the remove section. Here we've got the remove tool, and I'm going to make sure it says here, use generative AI. We'll put a little tick in that checkbox, and I'll just bring it over myself and just make a loose selection going around me like here. All the way up, just over there, like so. Oh, I've still got to do the middle bit. Come down, and there we go. Then I'll click on the remove button over on the right-hand side, and then give it a few seconds to sort of do its thing to remove me. Now, it's not going to move the guys together or anything like that. That's actually, you know, that's not a bad job. It's not done too bad a job, but when you look at the state of this guy's hand just here, let's come out of there for a second. You can see, that, yeah, actually, I'll take my words back. It's not done a very good job there at all. Look at the state of his arm. It's rebuilt the background quite good, but the arm not looking good. So we're not going to go with that. That's why I'm kind of doing this video, to show you that there are things you can do if you only use Lightroom. You can still make use of other technology that Adobe are offering. So let me show you how you do that. So with the picture open, I'm going to go to the photo menu. We'll come down here to a menu option called Generate in Firefly. And then there's this option here, Edit Photo. Now, when I tap on that, that's then going to send this image over into the Firefly website. Opens up the browser, as you can see, and there's the image. So there's a number of things you can do here. On the left-hand side, there's a few things that you can do. I'm only going to work on the one that says prompt here. There could be other videos where I do some extra stuff in here, but for just this one, I want to look at just using the prompt. So here's our image. There's things you can do on the left-hand side. At the bottom here is where you can choose the actual model that you want to use. You've obviously got use of Adobe's own Firefly Image 5, and then there's all the partner models here, ones that you'd recognize like ChatGPT's Image Model 2, you've got Google Gemini 3.1, and so on and so forth. So that's that there. And you've also got the aspect ratio. I'm going to leave it as what it will choose by default. And when I leave it just as it is, it's going to just basically keep the aspect ratio the same as the image that you imported. Then you've got the resolution that you can choose it to be. And you can see here, look, with Google's Gemini 3.1 or Nano Banana 2, I can go up to 4K. Now, whatever you choose here, be it the partner model or whatever AI model you use, and also the resolution, that's going to affect how many credits, how many generative credits are used to do what you want it to do. Now you can see here, look, it says 20 credits, but if I change this particular one to 4K, you can then see it says 30 credits. Now I have had a play with this, and I tend to know now that the best model for me to do what I want to do is actually the ChatGPT model GPT-2, Image Model 2. So that's what I'll choose over in the image model picker here. So go to GTP image 2. You can see that says 20 credits here at the moment. I'll leave the aspect ratio to auto. The quality here, it doesn't say 2K or 4K. It just says low, medium and high. So I'll go for high. I want the best possible resolution from this. But you can see here, look, it says straight away, it's gone from 20 credits to 80 credits. And that is quite a jump, in all honesty. That's quite a big jump. However, this is something that I would suggest really you're not going to do every day. You're going to do it every now and again. So if you're just doing it every now and again, you're not going to sort of like remove all the credits that you have in one big hit, hopefully. But maybe ChatGPT Image Model 2 could be one that you avoid because it does tend to use a few more credits. But it works really well for this particular image. So that's what I'm going to choose. In the prompt here, this is what I'm going to paste in. So the prompt I'm using for this one says, remove the person wearing the blue baseball cap, which is obviously me. Move the remaining 3 people so that they're all stood close together. Do not change the colouring. Do not change the faces, the hair or the clothing. Faces should be identical to the original and the final picture should include only 3 people. So just reiterating so that the AI is under no illusion as to what I need to be done. Then I'll just simply click on generate. And then it does what it does. It takes however long it takes, maybe around about a minute, I would suggest, maybe sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, depending on what you're wanting it to do. But now it's going to work on the image and hopefully remove me, bring the guys together again, keep everything else the same so that you would never know that I'd actually been in the original picture. All right, so timing-wise, that probably took, I don't know, maybe about a minute and a half, something like that, but it has done a really good result. So if we go to the original image and then the one it's just fixed, so before and after, that's actually really good. But for me now, the really interesting thing is because when I used this GPT image model, it didn't say whether it was 1K, 2K or 4K, because obviously what it's had to do here is regenerate the whole picture to give us this result here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over to the left-hand side and just click on Upscale, because that then tells me what the original image dimensions are going to be. Now, by default, look, it says here, upscaling 2 times. So this number here, 3072 by 2048, is when the actual generation has been already been doubled. So let's have a quick look at what the original one was. Let's go to Lightroom, just press I on my keyboard to go to the information. And we can see here, look, 6060 by 4040. So it's considerably smaller. So yeah, I would do the upscaling here. So let's just go to 4 times upscaling. And that's then going to give me 6144 by 4096. So I'll click on upscale and let it do its thing. All right, so now it's upscaled it. Now this number down here is not what it is now. That is what the upscaled version would now be if it was done 4 times. Now, interestingly here, I think it's got a great result. The faces are pretty much, they are identical to what they were before. The background scene has not changed. That's a really good result. You wouldn't even know that I'd been there. So very, very happy with that. Now, though, this is the interesting thing. For me to get this out of Firefly, I need to come to this download button in the top right hand corner, and what that's going to do is that's going to download it into my downloads folder on my computer. So there is no kind of natural return journey from Lightroom into Firefly back into Lightroom. So that's something that Adobe definitely need to sort out. I mean, it's not much of an issue really. You have to just then import the image from your downloads folder, but for this to be seamless and less of a friction point, really there should be literally a round robin, a literal return. So from Lightroom to Firefly, you do your thing, you press a button, it goes back into Lightroom. Maybe that will come in the future. Well, I'd certainly hope it does. So there you go, somebody taken out the middle of a group, the gap closed, and the whole thing done from Lightroom without going anywhere near Photoshop. Now, of course, I'm not sitting here telling you Firefly is better than Photoshop, because it isn't. And if you're comfortable in Photoshop, then carry on. What I am saying, though, is that if you don't use Photoshop, that doesn't mean this sort of thing is off the table for you anymore. It used to be, it isn't now. It doesn't have to be for professional work either. This might be a family picture with somebody in it you'd rather wasn't. It might be a holiday shot with a stranger wandering through the back of it. It might just be a snap you like and want to like a bit more. That's really all I wanted to do with this one, just make you aware it's there so it's in your head next time you're sat looking at a picture thinking there's nothing you can do about it. And hey, if you'd like to carry the conversation on, I run the photography community on School and there's a link in the description. It's a friendly place with an active forum where people share images and there's lots of great advice, tips and techniques shared by members. We'd love to see you in there. Right, take care and I'll catch you in the next one.